everyone, welcome to the World Summit. I am the Big Blonde and today I'm interviewing Pedro and he will explain to us what happened between the cooperative plus Web3. Thank you and please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Pedro Cerdeira. So I do quite a few things in my life. I teach strategic management consulting at one of the local universities. I run a consulting company which is now taking Web3 into the corporate world or bringing the corporate world into Web3, whichever way you want to look at it. I'm putting together an investment fund. It should be finalized in a couple of weeks, and because I had a little bit of spare time, I've decided to create a coding academy that's upskilling Web2 people into Web3 developers.
Wow, so you have like free time and then you just decide to do something else.
Yeah, I think I like this sort of thing better than actually sitting on the couch and watching Netflix or something like that.
Yes.
It's more challenging for me and the better use of my time.
Totally agree. And being one of the top names in the country, what do you think about the future of Web3 in Portugal?
So, it's an interesting question. What I would like to say in the beginning is that Web3 is here to stay. So that's the first statement, okay? There's absolutely no doubt about this. Web3 means that there were Web 2 and Web 1 before. I was lucky enough to live through the first waves of the internet. When I started, there was no browser, so that's how far back the thing goes. What we have today is exactly the rerun of what used to be Web 1 in the very early days, but we now call it Web 3. So the issues, the topics, the problems, everything's the same, apart from one small big difference, which is the time scale. What used to happen in a couple of years back then, now happens in a couple of months. So that's how fast it goes. Same thing, it's about digital transformation, it's about technology that can transform our lives and technology that is certainly transforming the lives of the corporate world today.
Wow. And in terms of education, what is your biggest plan?
So, again, this is a little bit of a sign of the times and where we are in terms of the curve of adoption and development of Web3. We've done the research when we launched the Coding Academy, and what we found out is that, for example, blockchain is growing at roughly 70%, 7-0, of compound aggregate growth rate year on year from 2021 to 2026. So this is a market that's going from $5 billion in 2021 into $70 billion in 2026.
Wow.
And we're already on 2023. Okay, so we're halfway through this thing. On the other hand, it's estimated that there are about 27 million active coders or developers worldwide. Less than 7% of them are working on Web3 or have the skills to work in Web3. So the opportunity is huge. I mean, the trend is your friend, like they say. You have the market growing exponentially. It's like a hockey stick, and people that want to go into this. So it's a huge opportunity. I've actually lived through something very similar about 30 years ago here in Portugal, with the IT resources that were needed for the new era of technology that was coming along with the internet. It was absolutely traumatic what had to be done and how people had to be trained, most of the times in a hurry, but it was better than nothing because the corporate world demanded more and more and more and more of these resources. And it was a life changer for a lot of people. That was basically the way that they found of going, or as an alternative to having a normal career somewhere, as to having a better quality of life. And actually most of them ended up having startups and completely changing their lives.
Wow, it's such a pleasure to learn from you, as you have all this knowledge and I'm so like beginning everything. And I think Portugal is doing really good in general, inside Web3 and communities. So I'll be looking forward to follow you in your socials and to learn more. Where can we find your content and like everything?
So it's very easy. You can find me on LinkedIn. That's what I use most for obvious reasons. Telegram as well, and all the other socials. The handles are easy to find. I mean, I go on LinkedIn by Pedro Cerdeira, Cerdira, and my handle on Telegram it's @PM_Cerdeira, spelled exactly in the same way.
Okay, thank you so much, Pedro, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. And yes, guys, don't miss the content from Pedro, and thank you so much.
Thanks, real pleasure.